nice of you to be here today. Good morning. Very happy that we're all together. It's like being reunited again. So, before we get started, let's just kind of center ourselves. And since the word for this month that we've been meditating on is the word commitment, let's let ourselves be really quiet inside and feel commitment. Remember that commitment, in this sense that we've been talking about, is about being committed to values, to the truth, to peace, committed. So as we do our ohms, find that place inside of you so nothing is rushed. We don't want to say, well, okay, let's just get that part over and get to the next. Om. 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 Remember when you start your spiritual practice, when you sit to do your practice, hopefully we're going to talk today about doing your practice throughout the day, wherever you are. But there's your daily practice, if you can, um, or your weekly practice, where you sit and you gather quiet from inside of you and move it through you out into the world, however you like to do that. If you were raised in a particular religion and you still really like some of the prayers or chants that you learned, do it. Be committed to what it represents. Be committed to that. Because if we only are loyal to a church, loyal to a temple, loyal to a guru, loyal in this way to different things, that's not enough. You're not going to get enough out of it. It'll make you feel like you want to belong to something. That's okay. However, we're working on commitment. So we want to be committed to what it represents. So perhaps you were raised in as a Catholic, since we have all the Pope and everything that's happened. Um, Instead of being loyal to Catholicism, we want to be committed to what the teachings represent. So the master of Christianity, in this sense, is the master Jesus. Jesus was not a Christian, he was Jewish. So I say this to you so we remember that what he brought were these deep values, that it doesn't matter what religion that you're loyal to. What matters is, are you committed to the inner values that are there? So in this way, the Master Jesus taught about love. He was the master of love. Everything he did was about love. He didn't show loyalty to being Jewish. And I say that because the story of when he went into the temple where the money changers were. And in this case, I like to tell this story from maybe a little bit of a different perspective. I've heard this story told by people in different religions who also love the Master Jesus, but they are not Christians. One is a Muslim. The other one, we'll come back to that one. But I have heard this particular story from people who are not Christian, or they are not Catholic, okay? And the way that it was told to me in this way was he went to the temple because he heard that there was money changing, exchange of money going on in the temple. He didn't think this was such a great idea. And in those days, when you would go to the temple, you would have to pay money to buy like a dove to have it sacrificed, and that would make you better for it, or it would make your family better. Sacrificing of animals is something that's gone on since probably the beginning of time. So let's don't get too much into talking about that. You can ponder on that and look into that as you like. But in order to buy that dove, you would bring your money, but then you would have to go to a table and exchange your money for clean money because your money was probably dirty. Why? I don't know. So you would give your money to the money changers. They would give you the money, the clean money, so you could buy the dove to have the sacrifice to better you and your family. Jesus didn't think this was a good idea. So he got very upset, upturned the tables, caused a ruckus, and nothing would be the same again. So, why did he do that? One of the reasons, I'm not suggesting to you that I understand the Master Jesus' motives for everything except for that it was about love. But in this case, animal sacrifices are about sacrificing inside the traits that you have that are animalistic because we are humans. We are not animals. We have evolved from that kingdom to become humans. I know this is really hard because we think, but animals love us unconditionally and all this stuff. And look at humans, they act like they're barbarians. Well, I couldn't agree more. However, apparently, when you become a human being, everything is so much more difficult. So much more difficult. There's so much more responsibility, so many more choices. So, what I'm saying, why I'm telling you this story is because you could be loyal to the fact that, okay, we made this sacrifice, so now everything's going to turn out and I'm in the group, I'm in with the cool kids, I'm doing all this, I'm loyal to the cause. But are you committed to what it represents? So when we sacrifice an animal characteristic, what I'm talking about is when animal characteristics are in humans, they don't belong. They belong with animals because animals are perfectly lovely how they are, but not expressed through a human being. So we can become very angry. We can have that would be considered that. Sorry, animals. I'm not saying they're that way. This is a hard thing for me to talk about because I love animals so much. And I don't want you to get the impression that there's something wrong with how they are. They're perfect as they are. But this is us. And we have to learn to control those parts of us that require practice to raise above it. So, for instance, we work on, like we've talked about 1,000 times, we work on as a practice the word patience because we're learning that as we learn how to be patient, then the urge to just become angry, and why don't you just do it? I don't want to wait any longer, right? That whole feeling of being impulsive and working yourself up and your face gets all pinched and your body just is like this. Well, that's not how we want to be. So that's impulsive. It's like an impulsiveness that just wants everything to move forward. And so that's what gives us the wrong idea that patience is about waiting. No, it's lack of self control because patience is inner strength. So when we practice patience, we're developing this part of us, the human part of us, to be able to be in a state that has more love and being committed to love. When we're committed to love, when we're wanting something to happen and we're starting to lose our temper because we've lost our patience, once that happens, it's very difficult to get back to center. So as it's starting to rise up in you and you're starting to feel, ugh, if you have a practice, you could say, no, no. Commitment to practice changes our karma. It's the only thing that changes our negative karma to positive karma. Because as you practice patience, you can feel the negativity of anger, the feeling of you want power over the situation because right now you feel powerless and you have to wait and you have to do this and you have to whatever it may be. So we lack this control over ourselves and we feel like we have to be angry so that to move things on. But anger doesn't move things on. It just makes the other person that you're waiting for or whatever's going on kind of accommodate you just to get you out of the way. Nobody's been served by the outburst. Most of all you, because when you walk away, you're still going, you know, those people over there. You see? So commitment is being committed to the values, the inner values of everything. So truth, truth is not just standing there saying this is what happened. On a higher level, truth is introspection. To be able to look inside of ourselves and find who really am I? And that is a really good question to ask. It's not just your name. Oh, yeah, well, I'm Jacqueline. What are you talking about? I do this. I have this for my family. This is this. We've identified all the things around us in the outer world, but you don't really know what's inside. Because if we really did, we wouldn't lose our temper so easily. We wouldn't be so frustrated all the time. We wouldn't have to do the blame shame game so often. We wouldn't have to feel like we are unseen. When we feel like we're unseen, it's by other people. We feel like other people don't see us. But even when they do start to see you, you're still going to suffer from feeling unseen because we have to learn to see our inner self. We have to see us. I have to learn how to see my own heart and to see me and to want to improve me and not wish that those people would act like that. If they would change and if they would do all these things, the world would be a better place. Don't be a spectator watching other people do bad things. Look inside of yourself and go, how can I not be? How can I change myself so I'm not like the things that I disdain when I see them in other people? What can I do to help myself? So the main thing is to develop a spiritual practice. Now, does that mean you have to go out and buy new things? Have a big old altar with all kinds of things on it? Nope. But if you have one, it's beautiful and it inspires you. When I go into a church or into a temple, oh my gosh, I look forward to it because I want to feel the air. The church is beautiful, the temple is beautiful, and I appreciate that. But what moves me is what's in the air. What's in the air are people who've been gathering there and they want love. They're seeking the feeling of love. They can come into these sacred places full of hurt, distress, all kinds of things, grief, loneliness, despair. When they come into the church, they too feel, or the temple, they feel the people who have prayed for help. And as we gather in a place and we pray for help over a long period of time, what happens is that it leaves a mark on the place. It's still in the air and you can feel it and it's inspirational and it creates a place where you can get quiet more quickly if you are able to feel it. So you're being committed to what everything represents. You don't have to be loyal to the religion and join or do other things, but feel the air so that you can be committed to that feeling of deep love, deep faith. Learning to have faith in God in this way, where there's statues and all kinds of things, it helps us to understand by looking at that. Okay, if I look at Ganesha in the wood here isn't able to do everything that I need. What this represents is in the air. The energy of Ganesha is in the air, not just in a church or a temple, not just in my room, because I have this here. This is telling me this is an aspect of what we call God. God is in the air. Ganesha is in the air. All the masters are in the air. Angels are in the air. Everything like this is unseen. So what we're doing is we're learning to be committed to the unseen world within us. Because within us lies the capacity of what we're asking Ganesha to do. So the aspect of Ganesha, there's something that is in the universe, that's in our atmosphere, that we can call upon. And when we make that call, there's a place inside of us that has the number. And as we call upon that, we look out, we look outward. So idols, as they're called, they are a place for concentration, for a spiritual practice. So as you look at them, it's to remind you that you have that inside of you, inside of me. It doesn't mean that, okay, I got it, you can let this all go. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You can if you like, of course. But to remember that you're asking for this to awaken in you. It's not that you're bereft of Ganesha, that it's just out here or just in here. It's in here. So the commitment to a spiritual practice awakens us to understand that as we pray for peace and we pray to the higher forces for peace, we're also helping ourselves to remember that we are part of those forces. We are part of it. So the more genuine that you are, the more you go into it and you feel what you're praying for, then you remember that you're part of what's in the atmosphere that we call divine beings. Because yes, they are there. It's true. But it's important for you to find out for yourself, not accept it because I say it. And through a spiritual practice, you begin to feel it. Like the example I gave you when I go into a temple or into a church, and you can feel it. There are some places that I've been in India that I've had a feeling of divinity that I've never felt anyplace else. And it's so strong, you don't even have to like work at feeling it. Mm-mm. No. It permeates everything around it. And when you step out of that little area, you automatically feel the hustle and bustle of India. all of the noise and the sounds and the smells and the colors and everything that makes India so fascinating. And we can get caught up in that. And when we were inside that sacred place, when we go back outside into the world, we get really caught up in it. And it gives us the illusion that that feeling that we had inside of that place is only in that place. But it's not. It's concentrated there. It's concentrated. So when you go in there, You feel it and you're like, whoa. And then after a while, when you're back out in the world, like I said, you might be like, oh, I lost it. It may take days or weeks, but you feel it leaving you. And it didn't really leave you. We just got caught up in the world. And we forgot that that feeling that we could feel there is also inside of us. The feeling of the world, being caught up in the world, is inside of us. The feeling of being in the temple or in a church is inside of us. But then we forget that it is, so it seems to go away. It doesn't go away. It's just that we move our attention, our concentration onto the world. So in your spiritual practice, you're teaching yourself to pull yourself away from the world into yourself so that you can feel that divine energy that's in the temple of your heart. And it never goes away. It's just that you're not used to feeling it because we live in the world and the world is fast. And these days, it's not necessarily as pretty as we would like for it to be with all the things that are going on, not only in our country, but everywhere. So it makes it much more difficult to feel that the divine lives within us. So we have spiritual practices to help us to take a little bit of time in our day to look inside, to feel that divine beauty that you can feel in the sanctuary of a holy place is also within you. This is what makes us different from the animal kingdom. They don't do this. They give service to us and earn their life as a human being. We've all been animals, but we are humans. It's a hard thing because the humans are causing a lot of problems for the animals. So we lose our dignity, but we don't have to. The dignity of being human is still in the heart. It's our ability to sense what I call divine forces in us, around us, and beyond us. And as we practice, we'll get to the practice part in just a moment, but as we practice, you're out in the world, it's about practicing self-control. We all know what that means. You know, parents know what that means about their children. They want them to have more self-control in certain situations. Don't have a tantrum right now. Oh my God. You know, it's but as adults, you still tell adults, calm down. What are you doing? Why are you shouting? Calm down, calm down. What are you trying to say? So this is our way of saying, where's your practice? But of course, all it does is create anger in the other person. We all understand this feeling. So what we want to do is when we're out in the world, we want to have something that we have already generated where there's a wealth of peace within us that we've become aware of. So that then when we're out in the world and we're interacting with other people, we don't have to lose our temper. Because I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from people that they really feel that if they're angry, they're really actually doing something. Or it makes them feel like they realize, pardon me for speaking this way, but sometimes people feel like, well, yeah, it's made me realize how stupid everybody is. It's just a habit to think this way. Are you committed to thinking people are stupid? Are you committed to anger? No, you see how the word commitment doesn't go in there? No. We make commitments to love, to values. So, a spiritual practice, in order to be calm out in the world, out in the world can be in your own house. So, in order to have that ability to stay alert, because never think of peace as weakness, like someone's going to run over you because they're angry. When you can actually generate peace from inside, the person that's angry, that's facing you, will feel it. That's confusing. If you can really generate peace, it's very confusing to a person who's in a moment of anger. But it'll make them less likely to continue overreacting to you. It's powerful. Spiritual practice is powerful. It makes you powerful because you have control over yourself. It's a practice because we have to keep doing this to become enlightened. And I always tell people, don't ask me what enlightenment feels like, because why would I know? I'm a practitioner. I am not enlightened. I only know what I know. And everything that I know is from my own practice. But it has to keep going and going. And it's one of those things that you have to design it for yourself. If you have come from a religion, but you're not tied to that religion anymore, or you're not committed to it, no, loyal to it, so to speak, it's all right. Maybe you still like using the rosary. Hindus have a rosary too. Muslims do too. They're all over the world. And what are those for? It's to help us to focus on the prayer. It's not just for counting. You see, it does that so you don't focus on counting. As you pull the bead across your hand, you don't have to focus on that. And you could make your own rosary, so to speak, your own prayer necklace. You decide which prayers you want to say and in what order. And as you string your beads together and you make this for yourself, you have your own prayers there. And then when you sit to do your prayers, you can, same thing. You made your own prayer beads. People say, well, I never heard of such a thing. Isn't this something that you just do when you're religious? Nope. You could be religious or not. This is a beautiful technique. It doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to everybody. So you can do this for yourself. And you can assign those beads, like I said, to certain chants or certain affirmations, if you prefer to call them that. Affirmations are prayers. I am. All the yogis say, I am that. This is something to ponder on, because what the heck does that mean? So these deeper concepts, we have to learn to ponder on them. So there's so many techniques that we consider to be in one religion, and we don't feel like they belong to everyone, but they do. So when you have a spiritual practice, it means, in this sense, that I'm talking about the formal practice, not the practice out in the world. The formal practice, the practice that you have at home, where you take time to sit. You take time to sit, to center yourself, to become quiet, to quiet your mind. If you've had a restless night of sleep, it's the morning and your mind is cloudy and it's just kind of still going over yesterday, and it's going over all of the tossing and turning that you did that night. This is a terrible feeling. Terrible. So when we go to sit, even if you feel like that, you might only be able to sit for 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes are going to be so concentrated because you're fighting for peace. It's not fighting like this. What I mean is, you're insisting that you help yourself because you're in trouble. You can feel it. You're in trouble. You don't feel well. You feel erratic. You feel frustrated, which can burst into anger during the day, because that's where it starts, with frustration, and then it builds and builds and builds, and then boom, here it goes. So if you can sit for 5 minutes and focus on something that reminds you of divinity. Whether it's a little mini statue of Ganesha, whatever it may be, it's good for you to have something that you can read, like you pull a spiritual book up and you open it. I tell you this all the time because it's worthwhile to talk about again and again. And you read something that's really, really deep. And you're like, I don't really get that. Well, of course not. But you feel it. And after you read it, sit. Sit with what you just read. Feel it inside of you, not just as in the book. It's beautiful that we have books that have these words that we can look at, and they can inspire us to remember that what we're really wanting is it to come from the inside out. And then as you sit and you breathe rhythmically, deeply, at first you might not be able to, but be patient with yourself. Know that deep and rhythmic breathing. Don't worry and say to yourself, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Is this right? Should I do it? You know how to breathe. You do it every moment of every day. You're just teaching yourself to slow it down. Long and slow breaths. Slow it way, way down. And as you do that, it kind of tends to make you relax. And as you relax, now the feeling of tightness requires you to think about bad thoughts. Bad thoughts being, I'm just using anger today, it could be many other things. Those thoughts move through our body and they create all kinds of tension. They do. You know it does. You're like, oh, this hurts, and then you start to think, well, I've been pretty upset lately. And then we understand what's in the mind moves all through the body and out from us, out into the world. And it affects everyone that's around us. And then it returns back to us. So if you can sit and read something or do some chanting for a few moments. Chanting also helps you so that you can't think about the negative thoughts that you brought to the table when you were just sitting for that first few moments. Chanting, affirmations, breathing, reading something that's inspirational. It helps you to create space inside of you. And in that space, now there's time in their space to feel what's in a church, what's in a temple. Those are bodies, just like our body is, just like that old saying, your body is a temple. So this means we want to see the body as a temple and really have that feeling that we can get in a temple, in this temple. So the practice is about learning to sit perfectly still. The mind wants to move all the time. If it doesn't have someone, if it isn't controlled. Self-control is not when somebody says, control yourself. The person who's saying that is out of control. And you can be on either or side. Self-control has much more of a feeling of peace. So then when you go out into the world and you go to work and there's a big something going on, some big mess that's going on there, and everybody's talking about it and gossiping about it and very, very upset and projecting into the future all the negativity that could happen there, and you're listening to it, it will move through you. You'll still be affected by it, but not like it was. And you won't lose yourself and go running right into it and go, yeah, tell me all about it. Let's get all angry together. No, you'll know that I don't want to feel like that. You'll even feel like it hurts, that you come to a point where you feel like it actually hurts because you're getting quiet enough to where you can feel what that energy actually feels like. And that's why it changes our mood. This kind of energy out in the world, I say out in the world because this is, I'm out in the world, you're out in the world, but where there's this powerful negative energy, we can get so caught up in it that we don't even feel it anymore. We just think that's just the way it is. So loyalty is not my favorite word. And I don't see it as a virtue to actually um, focus on because I see it as something that can be bought or sold. We can intimidate people into being loyal. If you don't do this, this is what will happen to you. If you don't join our side, if you don't believe in like we say, this bad thing will happen to you in the afterlife. Loyalty to a particular institution isn't enough. Do you really feel committed to the values? To the values. Not just being loyal to an institution and not just being loyal to people who are there and they tell you that this is the best thing. What are you seeing in them? What are they committed to? What are they doing? What are their actions telling you? Because their actions are telling you what's inside, what they're focused on. We all have the divine inside of us, but we don't focus on it. We'd rather join things, and loyalty could make you feel special or chosen. I've been chosen to be in this group. This can be seen, you can see this in what we call street gangs. You can see this in religions. You can see this in politics. You can see it in all kinds of groups. You must be loyal. But what are the values that are in those places that you want to be associated with? What are the values inside of you? This is where your commitment really needs to be. And as you're committed to your own sense of values inside of yourself, you become that. People then, when they're around you, they know that there's a particular part of you that is really good and they love being around you. When we're only loyal, then there's only certain people who are going to want, that you're going to want to be around and that they're going to want to be around, because the other people are on the outside. Loyalty creates like walls and barriers, and people are inside of it. And people who aren't loyal to that particular cause are on the outside. So it creates this division. And you can see this all over the world today. We want to be special. We want to be chosen. We want to be with the in crowd, the cool kids. But what are the values? What is the truth? What are you loyal to? But better yet, what are you committed to? Always be committed to the health of your own heart. The values of love, true love, make us want to serve others, regardless of what clique they belong to. Where you see pain, it doesn't matter to you that they belong to the purple group or they belong to the pink group. You're not concerned about that. You see somebody in pain and it draws you to them, or it draws you to say a silent prayer for them. Because that's your prayer is the energy from inside of you that moves to them. Commitment is much deeper than loyalty. It doesn't have boundaries. You don't have to pay dues. You don't have to answer to anyone. You don't have to follow somebody else blindly. You want to be committed to your own heart, to the quality of your own thoughts, your mind. You live with you. Wherever you go, remember, wherever you are, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. And as the commitment deepens, you begin to want to take care of yourself better. You want to take care of your inner life better. You want to feel better. You want to feel love, that sweetness. Sometimes when people are gathered in a way where it's more about commitment and it's more about love, sometimes in the air, what will happen is that there's a smell, a scent, and it's like flowers. Sometimes it's like rose or jasmine. And it's strong and it can be there and it lingers and then it drifts away. But you had this magnificent, mystical experience with what's invisible in the air. I've had this experience on my own, and I've had this experience in groups. And when it's in groups, you see people go, whoa, oh, it's like a hush comes. You don't want to do it for that. It's not a reward. It's just that you've matched that energy that has that scent. There's always beings that are invisible around us that as we sit in our practice, they love to be around us because we're generating through the practice the power of love. So they're drawn to us. So it does make things a little bit more mystical. And it makes you want to go run into your, your room where you practice. As you practice in your home and you're in your car and you're driving along and you see people who seem to be hurt, or maybe you're just at a stoplight and you see somebody really having problems walking across the street. Maybe they have a really old dog with them. They're both kind of hobbling across the street. And you're looking at them and you feel that connection as you watch them. They don't see you, but you see them. And you're watching them. And your mind is thinking about them. What are you thinking? Are you thinking, hurry up, because I don't want you in front of me when the light turns green for me? Or are you thinking, kindly help them with peace, peace, peace? Or whatever it is that's beautiful to you to say. Either way, your thoughts will move through you. They'll move through your car because they're in the air and they'll affect that person. And then comes back to you. This is commitment. This is the beauty of commitment. We're committed to love, to feeling love, to practicing love, being love. It's much deeper, much more profound than mere loyalty will ever bring. Loyalty is inherent in commitment, but it isn't commitment. Excuse me. So, commitment is a big, big part to our spiritual practice. It is. We That's why I like to always say, if you have a prayer practice where maybe that's part of it, where you you're sending energy to people that you love, or you're asking the forces that be, the ones that are attracted to you anyway. You're in a group, unseen forces, and you. And as you put those prayers out, everybody benefits. Your family, your friends, the people that are around you, they benefit from your effort. You might like that. You might not like that. But that's the way it moves. You see, as it moves through me, it moves through to my family. It moves through friends. It moves through everybody that I work with. And we're all uplifted because of it. Now, am I special? No. No more than anyone else. What I'm telling you about using myself as an example like that, that's the same for you. As you do that, it moves through your home, it moves into your neighborhood, and then when you consciously ask it to, kindly move through to help all those who need your help. This is how we change the world from groups. This is our group, and we're loyal only to us, and we're only loyal to us, and we're only loyal to us. And if you want to go to battle, we'll go to battle. We've been loyal to groups for such a long time. And just look at it in history. Loyalty without commitment to values, deep spiritual values, creates war. We've had war forever. Here we are in 2025, and people talk about we're on the verge of war yet again. Well, there's wars raging already in the world. And these choices are made by a very few people, those who run each organization or group that attracts followers to hurt the followers of the other group. It's time that we raise ourselves up and say, no, thank you. I don't want to be loyal to your group. And you say it to yourself if you don't want to say it to them. And you stay committed to your practice of peace. And as you do that, peace moves through the world where those thoughts about we have to annihilate the other groups so that we're the only group left and we can rule everything, we can actually make those thoughts crumble. But if all we do is stand on the sideline and criticize, we too might crumble from their thoughts. When you are committed to a spiritual practice, you will feel not so helpless. You will really feel that I'm doing the best I can because I want people who are hungry to be fed. I want people who have lost their home to find one. I want to help the animals that are in the shelters, but I can't go there. I want to be a part of service. I don't want to be loyal. I want to be committed to love. You don't even have to leave your house. Your practice will move through the air and it will make a difference. And I can prove it to you. People who are sitting in their houses wishing that other groups will fail or worse. Their thoughts matter, and you can see it in the world today. Those thoughts are everywhere, and they're powerful, and they're gaining momentum. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to inspire you to counterbalance those thoughts. Not to be scared or frightened, but to be strong and kind, and to know that you are a soul, not just a personality. And you have the ability to feel love inside of you and to move it out to others. Yeah. You want to stay away from things where you think it's a prayer where you say, please make them lose. No, don't do that. Focus on love. The more that we have that out in the world, it always wins. It's just that people don't believe it, just like the tortoise. Nobody believed that pesky little tortoise was ever going to beat that hare. And what happened? Of course he did. Same thing with love. We're seen as the tortoise, people who practice inwardly love. And just the tortoise, slow moving. But the hares of the world, it looks like they're going to win the whole thing. They're going to take us over. Oh, no. It doesn't take too many tortoises to make a really big difference. Really. There doesn't have to be as many of us that are working through love as there are those that aren't. Mm-mm. It's the quality that matters. Quality of love. Do not lose faith. Do not lose faith in love, the power of love, the power of compassion, the power of empathy, the power of service to others. Don't do that. You find a way to create your own practice so that you feel it inwardly. And you can practice anywhere you are. Maybe you're at the doctor's office and you're sitting there waiting for the appointment. You can just look down. You know, I use this trick all the time. Looks like I'm looking at my phone. No, I'm using it as a way to say my prayers. And nobody knows I'm doing it. I can be out anywhere and nobody knows I'm doing it. We don't have to be so formal. Be yourself wherever you are. And it will overtake the loyalists. We'll be the committists. Being committed to the power of love. I'm putting that out there more and more and more. The world, the earth has never been so bereft of love as it is today. And the possibility of it getting worse is real. The possibility of it getting better is real. It's real. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, God, are you still on that? We're all going to hell. Ah, don't buy into it. Don't buy into it. You will start to know as you develop your practice, you'll start to feel the difference inside of yourself and you'll never want to give it up. Practice any way that you want. You don't have to have a specific thing where you have to meditate this way, or you have to pray this way, or you have to do it this way. No. You can learn things from lots of people, and I encourage that. Absolutely. But like the masters have shown us, and their names are the ones that are remembered. People are join groups so that they can become famous sometimes. The only beings that live for hundreds or thousands of years in terms of their name are those who are committed to love. The Master Krishna, 5,000 years ago. The Master Buddha, the Master Jesus, Mother Mary. And these names hold power. And that power lives inside of each of us. And that's what they came to teach us. They didn't establish religions. The loyalists did. I'm not opposed to religion, don't mistake me. I'm just saying it isn't necessary unless you want it to be. Their message was love, to be that love and let it grow inside of you so it moves through every single thing that you do in the world. So now we have the next month. You know, the power of introspection is really, really important to look inside because our eyes are on the front of our face. So we're always looking from the inside out. So it makes us forget to look from the outside in. So introspection is our word to meditate on for the month of May. Learn to look from the outside in. Now the saboteur of introspection this month won't sound like a saboteur, but it's intellectualizing. You ponder on that. You ponder on that this month. And we'll talk about it again. So intellectualizing isn't necessarily a saboteur at all. But it certainly can be. Somebody can tell you, that's ridiculous. That isn't the way it is. Let me prove it to you. I'll go get the facts for you and show you how things go. Ah, you see what I mean? Listen to the feeling of what that means. Introspection. We need it. So today, we are not going to have our meditation. We're not going to be introspective together because we are starting our Tarot 1 class today. That starts at 11:30. But now that we've sat here together, focused like this, if you have the time, you have you, and let all that we have been with each other here today, the energy that we've generated together today, why don't you sit with it? You know, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes. Let yourself feel it run into you and run through you and ask it to be out into the world. 3 ohms? May? I just give it to him. Introspection. Ready? Let's do 3 ohms together. Om. 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 Thank you for being here today. Peace be with you. Namaste.